When something doesn't have power, it doesn't work the way it did before. It is choosing our way instead of God's way. But that's how it's going, not how it started, right? In the beginning, God created a world without sin, which is the topic we're talking about. But pretty quickly, humans went off the path, and just like that, sin entered the world. And one of the biggest lies about sin is that it only affects the person sinning. Like, if I lie or cheat or gossip or steal, it only affects me. But we know that isn't true. We don't live in a bubble where our actions only affect us. In fact, sin creates pain, which more often than not leads to suffering. In fact, nearly all the bad stuff in life is the result of sin, and not just one person's sin affecting them, but how sin affects the world around them through things like bullying or poverty or greed, or we'll say it again, bullying. You probably have a lot of that at school. Homelessness, violence. From the start, one person sinned and it affected everyone. It multiplied. It created a cycle of pain that just keeps going, and some call that evil. It didn't just affect us, though. It infected humanity. And we're still thinking about it. Like if we think about video games, like The Wither or The Witch that throws a potion and it splashes on you and it slowly burns you over time. Kind of like that. It grew out of control, creating all kinds of pain and suffering and evil in the world. Thankfully, this is just the beginning, not the end of humans. God loves humans too much to let evil be the end of the story. In fact, that's what we celebrate at Easter. Maybe you've heard about Easter is about Jesus dying on the cross, and that's true. Instead of watching from heaven and shaking his head as sin took over like an evil madman, God came to us by sending his son Jesus to the earth. Jesus was the only person who ever lived without sin. Hear that again. He never messed up even once, and he did die on a cross. But the story doesn't just stop at the cross. Instead, something amazing happened. 3 days later, some women came to the tomb expecting to find Jesus' body, but he was not there. Luke, a doctor who knew people who hung out with Jesus and did some investigation, wrote it all down. Let's look at what he documented. He isn't here. He is risen from the dead. Remember what he told you back in Galilee, that the Son of Man must be betrayed into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and that he would rise again on the third day. That's Luke 24, 6-7. Excuse me. Jesus didn't just live a perfect life, and he didn't just beat sin either. He beat death too. Neither was too powerful for Jesus. It's like Jesus saw all the evil spreading in the world and all the sin and death and pain and unplugged it from its power source. Does sin still exist? Sure, but it doesn't have the power to take over. It doesn't have the power to be out of control. It's still here, but it's not going to win the game. You know what I mean? What's the point? Because he lives, sin has no power. And that's something to celebrate, not only at Easter, but every single day. So let's keep talking in our groups about that, what that means for us personally. Or Minecraft. You can talk about that too. Have a good group.